Hello everyone, welcome back. And Barcelona beats Villareal 5-1 away from home in La Liga. And another impressive result in the league because that's not an easy game away from home to Villareal. And Barcelona, they just did so well to get that result. And the thing is, you're so impressed with the way that Barcelona played. And of course, the 3 points is very important. But of course, there's still going to be some negative feelings because Ter Stegen got injured. And after everything that happened midweek in the Champions League, and a lot of Barcelona fans, disappointingly, I did get on Twitter and saw some fans actually celebrating the injury, which is just very pathetic, to be completely honest. From a personal standpoint, you never want anyone to get injured. But also Barcelona, I mean, they're really going to struggle for the rest of the year because I think that's going to be a very bad injury. I haven't seen the result. I hope it's not as serious as maybe we might have expected, but it does seem like he will be out for a very long time. I could guess the rest of the season, unfortunately. And I just feel bad because, of course, I said, Ter Stegen in the Champions League is not great, but I still think, just on a personal level, it's so terrible to see that happen. And now Barcelona, they do have another injury problem to deal with. So I'm so happy with the 3 points, of course, but just some negative feelings around that, of course. And I want to talk about this performance overall because I think there were some gaps in the way that Barcelona played. And some people look at this scoreline 5-1, it looks completely dominant. But I think during the game, at that point when it was 2-1, and Barcelona, they just looked like they had so many gaps in their defense. And Villareal were easily counterattacking and creating a ton of chances. Maybe they were just a step or two offsides. But still, that's a little bit concerning because with the way that Hansi Flick wants to play, of course you want to play a high line, but when you rotate the back line like that and it's Gerard Martin, Inigo Martinez, Sergio Dominguez, and Koundé, I mean, that's not a very quick back line. So when the other team has a fast attacker, I mean, it can definitely be where it's a little bit too easy for the other team to create a goal-scoring opportunity. And yeah, Ter Stegen, what a save before that injury, by the way, because Pedri, he did lose the ball in a bad area of the pitch. And one-on-one against Nicolas Pepe, he would have put it in a great a corner. It was going to be a great finish from him. But Ter Stegen, a massive save to keep Barcelona up. And then, of course, just such a terrible injury on the corner. It just looked like he fell very awkwardly. And you really do not want to see that. And, I mean, I really hope Ter Stegen has a speedy recovery. Like I said, I just feel bad because my last video was basically talking about him not being good enough in the Champions League. But of course, in La Liga, I've rarely had any complaints about him, and it's unfortunate because, of course, looking at the goalkeeping situation within the club, I mean, I hope Inaki Peña does very well in the coming months that he's going to be starting for Barca, but Ter Stegen is going to be a big miss. And of course, in the league, he was one of the main reasons why Barcelona did win their last La Liga title. So it's really unfortunate. You did not want to see that injury, but overall, the way that Barcelona played, I wasn't completely convinced at this performance overall. I don't want to raise questions about Hansi Flick because he has the way that he wants to play, and it comes with a risk, right? Because you're pushing high up the pitch, you're pressing very well, and you're trying to keep them in their opposing box. So, it makes sense that you do let up a couple counters, but this game definitely could have went a different way, and maybe if Villareal would have just stayed a little bit onside or maybe been able to finish their chances, it could have went differently. But when you have someone like Lamine Yamal, Raphinha, Lewandowski, and Pablo Torre as well played great today, these things happen, right? You can score 5 goals in a game where it didn't look completely comfortable for 90 minutes. So Barcelona, the result, I'm just so impressed because away from home at Villareal, you're coming back from that game against Monaco where there were probably some negative emotions within the squad, but they got it done today, and I'm impressed with the 3 points, and I think the performance was good. Attacking wise, to score 5 goals is amazing, and I don't want to say I'm ungrateful for that because that's amazing. Given the way that Barcelona have been playing in the past couple of years, to see them score 5 goals away from home against Villareal, that's very nice. But I just think defensively, they did have some gaps that I think were a bit concerning, and hopefully, they can work on those because the high press works very well, but you have to make sure, your back line is completely connected and coordinated, but it makes sense because there's heavy rotation in the back line, and I'm glad that Hansi Flick did that because Cubarsí and Balde, I think they did deserve some rest. So overall, so impressed with the 3 points. Now I wanted to talk about some players specifically, and I'll just start off with Lamine Yamal. That pass for the 5th goal to Raphinha, incredible. I don't exactly know how to describe it in words, but I've never seen anything like this before, and I'm just so happy that he's at Barcelona. And I try not to talk about him too much because I just enjoy watching him play, and you don't want to put so much pressure on a kid that's 17, and he's so important for Barca right now, and it's just a joy to watch him. He's one of those players that even if you don't support the team he's playing on, you want to tune in to watch him every single week because it's just an opportunity to watch one of the biggest talents in the world, one of the biggest talents that I've ever seen. He's incredible, And I would have liked to see him come off maybe with 10, 15 minutes left, because the way that he was kicked at the end of the game, that's dangerous. And I really think the referee could have easily given 1 or 2 red cards, because, I mean, those were just blatant kicks out of frustration. And when the game's already done, it's 5-1. That's just so frustrating to see, because, I mean, I would have liked to see him off the pitch in the last 5-10 minutes, because the game's already done. But, of course, Hansi Flick had already used his substitution, so it's understandable. It's not Hansi Flick's fault, but it's on the referee, I think, for not being able to protect him, because he easily should have sent one of those players off on Villareal, because those are disgusting challenges in the last couple minutes when the game's already gone. That's just pure frustration, because the opponent you're playing against is much better than you, and that's what happened with Lamine Yamal. And he's getting treatment that a lot of great players in the past have gotten, if you know what I'm talking about. That basically, they're just so good that out of frustration, you just get really bad fouls and get hacked at the end of the game. You don't want to see that. But Lamine Yamal, unbelievable. Raphinha, so happy that he got 2 goals. And then Lewandowski, those 2 goals that he had in the first half were great as well. And some people might talk about that PK miss. I'm not super worried about it. It takes guts to be the one to step up. And unfortunately, no one has a 100% PK record. So you miss some. And Lewandowski, he just missed one of those. And it did seem like Villareal, they scored another goal, and it was 3-2, but then it was ruled offsides. And then Barcelona, they got the 4th and the 5th. So that looked fine. But as I said, there were definitely some moments in the game where I think Barcelona, they looked like they were going to concede. And, I mean, as I said, the way that Hansi Flick wants to play, it's high risk, high reward, as we saw, because they scored 5 goals. Some other managers maybe would have tried to go for a 1-0 and try to park the bus a little bit more and keep the defense more secure. So it makes sense that Barcelona are going to give up some chances on the counter. But I think there was a big disconnect between Eric Garcia, Sergio Dominguez, Inigo Martinez, and as well as Jared Martin. So that can definitely be worked on. But as I said, it's a difficult away team to play against. Villareal, they do have some great attackers, Pepe and Baena as well. They were great. And so when you give them opportunities, there are definitely going to be times when they look like they're in on goal. So that's expected. But you just hope that that doesn't hurt Barcelona long term, especially with the defense being so makeshift right now with Christensen and Araujo being out injured. So, yeah, I was a little bit worried about the counters. But as I said, and also I wanted to talk about Pablo Torre, because a goal and an assist today, that first assist that he had was so nice. Him in the pockets is just great to see. And with Dani Olmo being out for a couple more weeks, I can definitely see Pablo Torre getting a few more starts. And it was nice that Hansi Flick trusted him today, put him in a starting position, gave him that freedom to create around the box. And that's exactly how the first goal happened. What a brilliant pass to Lewandowski through the legs of the defender, and then Lewandowski with a great finish. And then the second goal, Lamine Yamal, back post to Eric Garcia, and then Lewandowski with a bike, just amazing to see. But that ball for Lamine Yamal, just so nice. And then, of course, Pablo Torre with the third goal, and I think that was huge, because at 2-1 up, away from home, and Inaki Peña just got in goal, so it didn't look like you were completely secure. Not to say anything against him, but it just, new goalkeeper kind of just brought into this game. A bit of mayhem going on everywhere, but Pablo Torre just put the game to bed there with a great finish. It did take a little bit of a deflection, but great from him. And Casado as well, when he came on, those last 30 minutes, I mean, the team just looked so secure after he got on, because the leadership that he has, just controlling the play, dictating the tempo, and didn't put a foot wrong. So, overall, I was very impressed. Raphinha as well, his 2 goals. The last one that he took was so good, and then Pau Victor with an assist on Raphinha's 4th goal. Just beautiful game overall. I really loved the goals that Barca scored. I think they were great. It was very entertaining and exciting to watch, even though it didn't always look secure at times. But that's the way that Hansi Flick wants to play. It's high risk, high reward, and you get 5 goals away from home. That's not something that we're used to at Barcelona, and that's something that I would love to continue to see. And yeah, as I said, unfortunately, the Ter Stegen injury, it puts a sour taste in your mouth, because especially with the way that he got abused, I think he had to turn his comments off on Instagram. That's so unfortunate to see. And as I said, I think it was really disgusting to see Barcelona fans celebrating this injury, because on a personal level, you never want to see that. Even a rival player, you never want to see them being injured, especially in a serious injury like that. I mean, that just looks horrible. And also, with the season that Barcelona have ahead of them, and with all the players they have out injured currently, you do not want to add Ter Stegen to that list. And as I said, it seems like a long-term injury. So right now, Inaki Peña is going to be playing for the next couple months, and I hope he does very well. There's also some Diego Colchon, which I think is the American goalkeeper, and then they have another one, so I'm not sure exactly who's going to be the second or third choice goalkeeper. But it's just really unfortunate to lose Ter Stegen to a long-term injury. It seems like a long-term injury. That's just from the reaction, the players' reactions on this in the field. Just, you really do not want to see that. So even though Barcelona got 3 points, it doesn't feel completely like a win. I also wanted to talk about the rotations because, as I said, Alejandro Balde and Cubarsí, it was nice to see them get some rest. Balde didn't even play today, and Cubarsí, he came on for the last 30 minutes, and they looked a lot more secure when he came on the pitch as well. It did, Barcelona, they did get their third and fourth and fifth goal, so it looked easier, of course, on the defense. But Sergio Domingos, I wanted to talk about him a little bit because I think he did look pretty solid at times, but of course, it just seemed like there was a disconnect in the back line, and you can play a high line and still feel connected. And we've seen that with Barcelona in the few games that they've had in La Liga. But this one, I think, was the one where it was really all over the place. And as I said, it's expected because you're rotating the back line. So, Gerard Martin, it's just, I don't know. Hansi Flick seems to trust him a lot. And I know Barca fans say, what does this coach see in him? I think he can be a solid passer defensively. It's nice to have a player with some height as well. But he's very slow, especially if you're going to play a high line. That can really bite you because, especially with someone like Nicolas Pepe running at you for 90 minutes, that's going to be very difficult to defend. And Gerard Martin, especially a player that's not really that fast and great in 1v1 situations, there can be some chances being made on that end. And so Sergio Domingos and Gerard Martin, I think they did have decent time starting in this game. Could have maybe looked a little bit better. And Eric Garcia in the midfield, I wasn't completely convinced by that. It was weird because the Hansi Flick tried to change it in game as well, with maybe in possession, Eric Garcia would go into a back three with Inigo Martinez and Dominguez. And then in the second half, it didn't seem like he was doing that again. So I think they were trying to find a way to make it work and maybe mess up the rhythm of Villareal's attack. But then there was just, you had some players stepping, some players dropping, and then you're keeping these players on at times, and then they're in on goal. And I think if Villarreal were maybe a little bit more clinical with their chances, it could have been definitely a different result. But in the end, that's what happens. Sometimes there are little moments in a game that can decide the outcome. And Barcelona, to get that third goal, I think was massive. And then Villarreal were pushing up a little bit more. Pau Victor with a great layoff to Raphinha. Buried that. That's 4-1. And then, of course, Lamine Yamal. That pass, that Trivela pass, I don't know. I just don't understand how someone can be that good. At 17 years old, it'd be impressive to be playing for the U19s, for the U21s of Barcelona. But to be doing this in the first team, I don't know. I think when he made his debut at 15, I remember watching that game. He came on. I was so excited to see him. And he played a couple just brilliant passes over the top. And you thought this kid is different because how is he seeing those and pulling them off? And then of course the next season Xavi made him a first team regular. He was so good in that last season, but this season he's taken he's taken a step up, and he's even better. He's just doing so well for Barca right now. He's one of the most important players on the team, and for Barca, he's just the main focal point in attack. So it's just so enjoyable to watch these guys play. And as I said, I'm so excited for the 3 points. That was great. They do have some more games coming up before the next international break, and I'm excited to see Hansi Flick continue. And you hope these players can stay healthy because I think these games every 3 days, even if there's a lot of rotation, which I think Hansi Flick did good today, you would have liked to see Raphinha, Lamine Yamal maybe not play 90 minutes because it's a lot. You have a lot of games coming up, and when international break comes, they're not going to get any rest there. They're going to be playing with their national team, so it's asking a lot from the players. But as I said, with the 3 points, I'm so happy today, and I really hope that Ter Stegen, it isn't a very serious injury. As I said, I feel really bad. Of course, I would never wish injury on anyone, but just I said that I wasn't impressed with him in Europe, and I really bashed his mistake a lot, so I feel bad for that. But I hope Ter Stegen, he has a speedy recovery because that's going to be a big miss because I do think he's an important player for Barcelona, especially in the league. He's very, very consistent there. So, yeah. It's great to get 3 points, but as I said, just some negative feelings for Ter Stegen getting injured, and I hope he has a speedy recovery. But as always, thank you very much, VISCA BARCA. I hope you all enjoyed the game, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. See you all later. Thank you very much. Peace.